This crypto market sell-off is about to get very, very ugly, but that presents an excellent opportunity to make money if you know why and if you are prepared. Hello and welcome back. Breaking news over the last couple of hours combined with a certain underappreciated fundamental element combined to make what I would call the perfect storm precipitating this sell-off in the Bitcoin and the crypto markets as a whole. Let's get into that in just a second, but first of all, I want to jump in and look at the price. So as you can see, we just continue selling off. Price currently sitting at $63,250. 65K seems like a distant memory, and we continue to approach that key 62,300 level that we've been watching out for over the last couple of videos. If we take a look over at Bookmap and see what the liquidity is saying, there is at least a healthy amount of bid entering the market as perhaps people look to capitalize on this and scoop up on lower prices. But I think where things get more worrying is when we look over at the liquidations and the fear and greed index. So fear and greed first, as we can see, we are back down to neutral from greed yesterday. This is the effect I've been speaking about over the last week or so. The market is really, really fickle right now and ready to slip between fear and greed so fast at the smallest price movements. We can see this reflected as well in the ETF flows. Yesterday broke the streak of positive flows after 7 days. We saw an outflow day of $10.9 million, the selling being led by Bitwise and ARK. BlackRock nowhere to be seen yesterday, not buying. Never a good sign. Where things get much more worrying is when we look over at the liquidation map on CoinGlass. So the first thing to point out here is, as you can see, the potential for short liquidations has actually grown massively. This basically indicates that people are positioning themselves short in the market, betting on the prices going down. If we look over to the long side, there is still a potential for those longs clinging on to be absolutely wiped out to the downside. So we're looking at something in the region of $1 billion worth of long positions that would be liquidated if prices were to fall below a level of $62,000. And if we look at that on our chart, I've marked that out here in red. That kind of marks the end of this last support that we saw back in the cluster that we started putting in on the 24th of September. So what is this underestimated fundamental indicator that I mentioned in the intro? Well, as you can see, the date is currently the 1st of October and we are 2 days away from a new moon. Historically, that has not been good for markets. So as you can see here in the chart, if we zoom out, new moon's indicated by these blue dots. With pretty startling accuracy, a new moon is almost always followed by a downturn in markets. You can see that effect here, 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 here. I mean, that is 100% accuracy for the time period that I'm looking at right now, and this spans back even further. You can see here on the daily chart. I don't have a great reason for you as to why that is. Superstition perhaps is probably my best guess, but what I will say is that whenever we see any type of indication that is accurate historically, and wherever we see confluence between those different indications, that's when it makes sense to start paying attention. Now, unfortunately, things aren't looking great on the fundamental side either. As you can see, within the last couple of hours, Israel has started limited, localized, and targeted ground operations in southern Lebanon. Now, of course, any kind of political destabilization, any kind of political worries are bad for risk assets as a whole, which has a trickle-down effect to crypto assets. So to wrap up and to summarize, new moon on the way in the next couple of days, which has historically been pretty bad for markets. Escalating geopolitical worries, which are never good for risk assets. Market no longer feeling greedy, no longer feeling euphoric. We've slipped down to neutral. I expect that to slip even further into fear if the situation continues to unfold. We've still got longs to liquidate, sitting just below us at around $62,000, nearly $1 billion worth of long positions that would be liquidated if we fell beneath that. And people are getting positioned short in the market. And in fact, the only way I can see us getting out of this situation quickly to the upside is if new capital jumps into the market and takes us to a position where we can start liquidating some of those shorts. But given the macro that I just described, I don't think that situation is on the horizon, and the opportunity I'm looking for still remains a nice big slip in price into liquidity further down, somewhere in the 60K region or below that even. Pay attention, watch this in real time, and position yourself to succeed. Remember, be greedy when others are fearful, and be fearful when others are greedy. As ever, that is not financial advice, that's just my opinion. Thank you so much for watching. Plenty more to come. Catch you in the next one. Cheers.